Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Powelson, I appreciated your written testimony with regard to the President's recent directive to the Department of Energy. I believe you wrote that it could, quote, could potentially blow up the markets and result in significant rate increases without any corresponding reliability, resilience, or cybersecurity benefits, end quote. Talk to us a little bit more about what such an unprecedented command and control approach to the existing wholesale competitive markets would mean.
Thank you, Senator, for the question. Let me start with the conversation that we mentioned earlier, where these markets value reliability through a reliability pricing model. And those markets basically set up a mechanism where you have orderly entry and exit of resources. If I had a pie chart today showing the PJM marketplace, to Commissioner Glick's point, it seems like everything's focused on PJM, and there are other parts of the country that we regulate. But if we're going to hone in on the PJM energy mix, it's probably the most diverse it's been since the grid was formed in the dispatch at 2301 Market Street in Philadelphia.
Right.
And I think the issue for us, again, is, and Commissioner Chatterjee and Chairman and my other colleagues, we're looking at this in terms of, you hear it from CEOs of companies, do we want to have an energy dispatch that is reliant on one energy source? No, we don't.
And do we?
And currently in certain marketplaces we don't. But let me take you to the New England states after the bomb cyclone. I mean, New England governors, Republicans and Democrats alike, are looking to get new gas capacity into that market. There is a problem in New England. To the credit of the RTO, or the independent system operator, they've done a 2025 lookout of a bunch of scenarios that are real time that are going to have a dramatic impact on that bulk power system dispatch. And that's a conversation we need to continue to have. But to your question, I think, these markets are driving a value proposition of creating diversity in the fleet. And yes, I can tell you unequivocally, there will be profiles of coal plants and nuclear plants that will clear in these markets. We know that. There will be certain assets, coal and nuclear, that won't clear in these markets. That's the market delivering on what it's promised consumers and regulators.
Let me ask you all broadly, do any of you believe that in the wholesale power markets we're facing an actual national security emergency at the moment?
I do not, Senator. I think the markets are
anyone
reliable.
wants to answer that with a yes? Let's move on then. Chairman McIntyre, I want to thank you for Order 841 and all of you for the work that went into that order. Storage is obviously remaking our grid in many different ways, and the logical follow-on would be a similar order with regard to aggregated distributed energy resources. I know you all have been building a record on that. How do you feel about that process and where it's going?
Thank you, Senator. Yes, I think that our order directing the RTOs and ISOs to eliminate any undue barriers to the participation of storage in our energy markets is a very important step forward, and is in line, I think, with, although my colleagues, of course, speak for themselves, I think it's very much in line with the dedication we share to embracing new technologies and seeing that they make their way to our markets in a way that yields benefits to consumers. And I agree with you that it's now appropriate to focus our attention on DERs, as we call them, distributed energy resources, and see whether there are steps that we can take to do the exact same thing for DERs as we did for storage.
Do you believe that you're building an adequate technical record to support moving forward on that kind of an order?
I do. The submittals of comments has been a robust process, and we will work through that record and make the decisions that we think are appropriate and helpful.
Great. I think my time is almost up, so I'm going to yield back to balance, Madam Chair.